Hey, this is your friend David. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And this is your leadership tip of the day for December 3rd, 2024. Implement the bridge model for communicating change effectively. So, today I want to talk, and I might do this actually in a couple of different episodes, talk about the bridge model for communication because it helps us think about how to communicate change effectively. And so I want to talk a little bit about that model and we'll go from there. So the bridge model, it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor from how we get from point A to point B. Point A is the current state of things, the current reality. Point B is the desired state of reality, the future state, what could be, and then obviously you've got to get there. You've got to imagine a bridge over a river, and that bridge is the communication, the processes, all the pieces that will be necessary to get to point B, to get to that future state, and that is successful change. And so you have that gap, and that gap is the bridge. And oftentimes with people, because people are people, that gap is filled with uncertainty, it's filled with challenges, it's filled with anxiety, it's filled with fear. And as a leader, our job is to help guide people across the bridge to get people from point A to point B. Sometimes people who are starting not at point A, but behind point A. And so that's our job. That's our role, is to make sure we get them across that bridge and to assure them and help them understand that they will be supported and equipped as they cross that bridge. And the reason for that is because change is handled and change is experienced differently by different people. And it depends on what the change is going to be as to where people are in that journey. So, for instance, let's say for your organization, let's take something simple. You're going to transition from Windows computers to Macs because you got a deal. Now, for a lot of people, there is a trepidation by changing complete operating systems. Changing that over from a Windows machine to a Mac is bothersome. It's concerning to them. For me, that transition is like, well, I already use an iPhone and I've got a Mac at home, so making that change for me would not be an issue. But let's say I wanted to change from an iPhone to an Android. Well, I wouldn't be nervous about it simply because of my work and my education and all I've done in life. But there would be some concern about it. I wouldn't want to do it. To be honest, I wouldn't want to move to an Android because I just don't like it, and I don't know how to do stuff in there. So there's always that trepidation, there's always that concern, and everybody is going to experience that transition and that change differently. So the role of the leader is to help bridge that gap between current and future states so that people don't freak out and get weird about the transition. Now, communication expert Nancy Duarte, she's written a couple of books. She's given a couple of TED Talks. I would encourage you to go find her TED Talk on what is essentially the greatest, the pattern that she found on the most memorable, the greatest American speeches. You can find it on YouTube as well. Search Nancy Duarte, Duarte. She's a communication professional out of California, San Diego, and years ago, she wrote a book called Resonate, which is really good. I encourage you to pick that up. But she wrote a book And in that book, and in the TED Talk that she gives, she talks about the process of analyzing over 200 speeches to essentially come up with a pattern, the communication pattern to make how people what you communicate memorable to others. And the pattern she found is very simple. You start with what is and move to what could be. Then you go back to what is, what could be, what is, what could be. And it's this back and forth pattern that helps people, it disarms people and their anxiety and their concern, but it also makes that speech memorable because you're invoking positive emotions instead of letting all the negative ones linger within the person you're answering and dealing with those communication, those concerns. And so part of that bridge method is starting with reality. I'm talking about what is, and then I'm going to go to what will be. And then I'm going to come back to what is, because reality is more than just one thing, and then go back to what could be. And when you do that, when you move back and forth, it opens the door for you to engage the concerns of the various concerns that people might have about the change that your organization is leading or organization is about to undergo. And so it opens the door for you to address it, to make it very real, to bring it out in the open. It's not an elephant in the room anymore. And then to show how that the change is going to make life different and better. And so you can move back and forth between different issues or concerns that people might have. So once you do that, then you start laying out the bridge. We're gonna deal with this transition by doing X, Y, and Z, whatever that might be. And it allows you to address the concerns of maybe not individuals, especially if you're in a large organization, but allows you to address the concerns of groups of individuals. And so that bridge is that back and forth movement. That bridge allows you to do that. Now, the bridge is not, obviously, it's not just a physical structure. It is a symbolic of this journey that all of us take when we transition, when we change, when things happen, and especially when groups of people change. It's our responsibility as leaders to lay down the planks, to lay down the structure, the steel, the concrete, whatever bridge that needs to be built, whether they're skills or resources or resources, people, whatever it is, so that the team you're leading can feel comfortable by taking the steps that you're journeying with them on, because you're in this journey too. And so take some time this week to think about that bridge model, about where you want your organization to go. Define reality, define the current state. And when you do that, and so when you define that reality and then you dream and you uncover what you want ideally in a dream world, what you want your organization, your team to look like, then that helps you start to construct the bridge to help them get across. So where are you in your organization? Where do you want to be? And then how do you get there? And how can you communicate that in a back and forth, positive way that deals with the objections, the concerns, the anxiety, the uncertainty that often comes with organizational change? You think about that. Have a great day. Hey, thanks for listening. If you liked this episode, please subscribe. And if you liked it really well, please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts or YouTube or wherever you're listening to your podcast. Thanks so much for listening to Innova Radio's Leadership Tip of the Day. Have a great day.